If someone says they're a mentor, what do you picture in your head? Someone who's thoughtfully asking what you're going to do in the next 5 years? Or someone who's actually listening and giving them guidance based on experience? And maybe, just maybe, this can turn into a mentorship that can actually bring two people forward together in their careers. Because I believe in every great mentorship, both people are learning, growing, and moving forward. Now, if you're a little bit freaked out about the idea of mentoring, whether that's being the mentee or the mentor or joining a mentorship where you have equal partnership, let me give you 3 tips so you can get started. The first tip is the most important. Finding someone to mentor you. Finding a mentor. Finding a mentor is job one when you're looking for someone to mentor or mentee. There's a couple of ways you can do this. Look inside your company, look to an adjacent department because you don't want to have your boss mentor you. That's too close to home. Their information is going to be a little biased to keeping you in the role you're in, and that may not be your goal. And also, let's face it, we don't always want to share all of our biggest concerns about our boss with our boss. So look to an adjacent department that isn't directly related to yours. There might also be mentoring programs inside your company, or you could look outside your company to professional organizations to find mentors. In fact, there are actually mentoring apps and websites where you can go in and find a mentor. You might need to pay a little bit of money, but it's a good way to find a mentor who's got the same kind of job or same kind of experience who can help you form a roadmap and execute. Now, once you've figured out who your mentor mentee is going to be, what do we do next? I always recommend having a process. A process helps guide you through the format of getting to know each other, creating a conversation log, and then finally, maybe even executing a plan. I really like lower fit process because it works. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. I like to do both kinds of mentoring, where I'm just having conversations on the regular with someone who has particular questions, and then I get a lot of information about what's happening in the marketplace, what kinds of questions people have, and I bring them back to this channel in the form of anonymous information, of course. The other way is actually having a plan. And I've done that too, where someone said, I'd like to be more outgoing. And so we've created a program to make them a speaker, and that's been really successful. Or someone who said, I want to get a promotion. So we've made a process for them to focus on that as part of their journey. Another part would be to build certain skills, and we've made a process to do that. And that's all contained in my mentoring workbook. My mentoring process has a beginning, middle, and end. What's the beginning? Getting to know each other. What's the middle? How are we going to communicate? What's our confidentiality rules? How are we going to process information and share it over time? That's really important. You will know what kind of conversations you're going to have, and things can dissolve pretty quickly. You can go from mentoring to just coffee chats that don't go anywhere and don't really help you move forward. And then finally, it has an ending. Mentoring is not meant to last forever. It can last weeks, months, or even years. But at some moment, you might need to stop. And you don't want to just, ghost each other. That's not the way forward. You actually want to have a handshake. Hey, do we renew our goals? Do we reset our way of working? Or maybe we agree to plan to move forward on a new trajectory. Maybe that's finding a new mentor. Maybe that's becoming a mentor if you're a mentee. And here's what I've done this year. I've updated this document, and I've also made it a fillable PDF form. So you can keep everything you need online at your fingertips, and you can update every part of the form as many times as you want. So process, obviously, is a big deal. Now, I found using part or all of that process has really worked for my mentoring that I've been doing for the past, 30 years. But even with the process, I find there's one other thing I like to keep in mind. When I'm talking through individual things with my mentees, I like to keep a log of when I meet, what we talk about. Just kind of stream of consciousness conversations can actually show a direction. And you don't want conversations that go like this. How are you doing? Well, here's how I'm doing. Okay, well, we'll talk next week then. That's not really mentoring. That's just having a checkpoint chat, I guess. So what you want to do is keep the conversation moving forward. And if you do use my workbook, there's places for you to do that. And if you don't, you can just use a pen and paper and keep a log of everything. I try to make a small agenda, maybe 1 or 2 points we're going to talk about next time. That way, when you start a conversation, you could say, okay, here's what we talked about last time. Did you action any of those things? And how did it work for you? That shows progress to the conversation, continuity at least. And that helps people grow over time. If you're making notes, you might think, is it so hard to remember these things? but your future self will thank you because you can't always remember some of the details of conversations month over month, week over week, but also you can't see growth. So it's a good way of tracking progress by looking back sometimes and taking those review moments. Now, a few tips for mentors and for mentees. One mistake is thinking they're the wise one in the conversation. Sometimes you aren't, and sometimes you are. It depends. So don't get too bogged down in thinking you're the all-powerful Oz and you're talking to Dorsey. It may be just the opposite of that. And if you really want to be a lifelong learner, you won't take that approach because every conversation is an opportunity to learn something about yourself or something new about the world around. I often do this. I stop talking, actively listen. I try to hear what they're saying, but also maybe the subtext of what they're saying. The next thing I do, I ask clarifying questions. And then thirdly, I ask them, is this something you want in myself? Or is it something you're sharing? Because sometimes people just need to vent. They need to get something off their chest. They're not even sure what kind of advice they need. So that can be the follow-up question to that. If you'd like advice, what do you want advice about exactly? And sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes it's not. After you give that advice, it's good to check in. Based on your problem and what I just contributed, what do you think? Would this help you? So working through that together joins both of your experiences and understanding of the situation and helps that person make their own plan, one that's really actionable for them. And once they've landed on the action, don't forget to briefly document it, either in the workbook or on your pen and paper log, because you need to follow up later to say, how did that go? Did it really work for you? And that creates accountability, but also trust that the process is moving you forward. And here's my tip for mentees. Sometimes it's hard to talk about hard problems, but if you can be honest and open about what you're facing, the issue, the skill set, whatever the gap is in your life, then you can get the help you need to move forward in a way that works for you. And be honest about feedback. If the advice you got was unclear or the use case wasn't fit for purpose, you need to say so that you can continue the conversation and get to a point where something is useful to you. And sometimes it takes a moment to let it sink in. So that's okay too. Saying, okay, let me think about it. I'm not going to action it now. I'm going to think about it. And we can talk about what we might action in the next meeting. Because mentoring is not performative. It's collaborative. It's meant to action you. It's meant to improve both people's lives in some small way. Does it mean to solve all your problems? No. Mentoring can be a way to take small steps to create future actions which really have an outcome for your life, or just make the day a little bit easier to get through. I hope you found this information helpful. If you did, consider giving the video a like, subscribing to the channel, check out this video on how to start mentoring, this video on how to find a mentor, and more on my workbook right here. And I'll see you next time. ProjectSkillsMentor.com. Bye-bye, everybody.